Relationship red flags that are toxic. Look, it is so easy to ignore the red flags when you're falling in love. I get it, I've been there. And I find that women do this way more than men because women often can see the potential. We could see what could be. We could see the good guy that's underneath that rough exterior. Men aren't really like this, and they really just look at what is rather than what could be. And this can lead women into bad situations because you get into a relationship with a guy who isn't in a good place or maybe isn't a very good person, but you see the potential of what could be, so you stay. And this is what can cause a lot of problems and a lot of heartache. So lately on my TikTok channel, I don't know if you follow me, but you should, Sabrina Alexis A&M. So I've been talking a lot about fictional toxic relationships. And in making those videos, I realized why we're all so screwed up about relationships essentially. Because the toxic relationships on screen aren't apparent. They're sold to us as being ideal romantic love, like Ross and Rachel, Bella and Edward, Big and Carrie, and I could go on and on. Anyway, it really made me realize that we have no idea what healthy relationships look like because healthy relationships aren't as fun to watch on screen. So this video is super important. I'm gonna break down exactly what you need to watch out for. We're also gonna talk about what to do if you are in an unhealthy, toxic relationship. So make sure you watch until the end. Real quick, if you enjoyed this video and find it helpful, please tap that like button. Such a quick, such an easy way to help me out, help me grow my channel. It takes less than a second, so I will give you 1 second to do that right now. All right, and while you're tapping, you should also hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post new videos. Also, if you want amazing relationship advice delivered straight into your inbox every day, then definitely sign up for our newsletter. It is written by me and my partner on A New Mode, Eric Charles, and you will get amazing advice from a woman's perspective, a man's perspective, answers to all your questions. So make sure you sign up. You can sign up at anewmode.com/subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram at newmode. The most important thing when it comes to having a successful relationship is this: choosing wisely. People who are good at relationships don't know some magical secrets that are being kept from the rest of us. It's that they choose partners who can give them what they want. It's really that simple. You cannot take someone who's just in no position to be in a healthy relationship and then expect a healthy relationship. There's a few factors to look at. And when we say relationship red flags that are toxic, you probably think of this crazy, mean, angry, abusive, sociopath. But that's not always what a toxic guy looks like. Sometimes it's just a really good guy who just is not in a place where he could be in a relationship. And that can create a very toxic dynamic that ends up damaging you. All right, so let's get into it and talk about the signs. Number one, he says he doesn't want to be in a relationship right now. Now, I'm gonna say it again. It's been said 5 million times on this channel, but I'll keep saying it. If a guy says he doesn't want to be in a relationship, believe him. The reasons don't matter. The facts do. I don't care if he's acting like the most amazing boyfriend you've ever had. If he's not saying, yes, I'm your boyfriend. Yes, I'm committed to you. Yes, we are exclusive. Then you're not in a relationship with him. And most often it's because he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. Or it could be he doesn't want to be in a relationship with anyone right now. That's how men are. That's a big difference between men and women. And I'm not saying all men and all women. We're just speaking in generalities. But if a man is in a place where he doesn't want to be in a relationship, then he's not going to make any space for a relationship. Women are different. A woman, doesn't matter what's going on in her life. Her career could be in shambles. Most women, not all, can still always find the room in their lives for a relationship. It could be timing, it could be compatibility, it could be he's dealing with emotional issues. It doesn't matter. What matters is if he tells you, I can't be in a relationship right now, then either you need to accept being in a casual friends with benefits, whatever type of situationship, or you need to leave. And if what you want is a committed relationship, then own that. Give yourself permission to want that. And then don't settle for something that is not what you want. Number two, he says his ex-girlfriend was crazy or psycho. Be very wary of the man that uses these terms. First of all, you always gotta wonder, what was he doing that turned her into such a crazy psycho? Also, maybe he had one crazy ex, but if they were all crazy, and if also his mom's crazy, then this is just a guy that doesn't really think so highly of women. Or maybe he's a guy that just can't handle emotion. So anytime he sees an emotion, he interprets that as, oh, she's crazy and unhinged. You really need to pay attention to the way he talks about his previous relationships. And also, if he's putting all the blame on the other person. A relationship doesn't ever fall apart because one person is 100% at fault. Unless I guess that person cheated. But normally it's what was leading up to the cheating? I mean, if a relationship is falling apart, it's usually falling apart on both sides. So if he has no, accountability, if it's just because she was a raging psychopath, That's a really big red flag. And also, like, okay, let's say he tells you some stories and you're like, wow, no, all of his ex-girlfriends legitimately sound like psychopaths. Why is this guy only drawn to girls who are completely crazy? Again, a red flag. Number 3, he never apologizes. Does he ever take responsibility, or is it always your fault? This is really important. This is a sign of emotional maturity, if he can accept responsibility and apologize. This one won't be so apparent right off the bat. That's why you have to take this list as a whole. But as your relationship progresses, like, you'll notice, is he always making it my fault? Or does he ever accept responsibility for anything that happens in the relationship, or any argument or anything? You aren't responsible for the entire relationship, and you are not responsible for his emotional well-being. And if any relationship strife or negativity is being pinned as being your fault, that's a big red flag. Like if a guy says, oh, well, yeah, I know I yelled at you, but I only did that because you were being so annoying. You wouldn't leave me alone. I had a hard day at work and now I have to deal with you. And then you feel like, oh yeah, you know, I was kind of like nagging him a little bit. Okay, so it is my fault. If someone is never at fault for anything, I mean, first of all, it's a red flag. Second of all, why do you want to be with somebody like that? Also, it's just a big sign of emotional immaturity, and why do you want to deal with that? Number 4, he love bombs. Okay, this is a tricky one, and this has become, oh my gosh, one of the biggest buzzwords, and the next buzzword is going to be later on in this list, but love bombing. This one is a tricky one because in mainstream media and in depictions of love, we see a man meet a woman and he's so taken by her, so blown away, like in The Notebook. He just sees her and automatically is like in love with her and he has to have her. And we see that and we're like, oh, that's so romantic. Oh, that's so sweet. But that's not real love. That's not realistic. And it's also a really major red flag if a guy love bombs you. And he could do it for several reasons. First of all, okay, what is love bombing? Love bombing is essentially that. He bombs you with love. This guy meets you and all of a sudden, like, he's, saying he wants to marry a woman like you. He wants you to have his babies, and you're the most amazing woman he's ever met, and he's ever met such like a mythical, magical, incredible creature in his entire life. And you are flying because you really like this guy and you are just like, wow, like this is what I've dreamed of. This is what I spent my whole life dreaming of. But normally it doesn't last and something changes and all of a sudden he starts to devalue you. All of a sudden he's pulling away and then you feel crazy because you're like, well, there must be something wrong with me. I must have done something. Now I have to get him back because he, saw me in this amazing light and he loved me so much and now he's taking it away. And it just creates a really unhealthy dynamic. Now, love bombing can be a strategy employed by a narcissist. And I am going to be making a video on narcissists. I think that that's just a really important topic to cover itself, because there is a lot of misinformation about what a narcissist is. So we're just gonna keep the conversation on narcissists brief for now. But narcissists, what they survive off of is the narcissistic supply, is making somebody love them, adore them, worship them. So when they're, love bombing someone, it's not necessarily because they feel that way about that person. It's because they want that person to love them, because their ego needs that fuel. A guy could also love bomb because he's lonely, maybe because he just got out of a relationship and he doesn't exactly know how to cope and he doesn't know how to be like without someone there. I've been involved with guys before who were just like so all in right away. And I've had friends of mine experience the same. And also some of my readers and followers who come to me asking questions, like, have been in the same boat. And a lot of the time it's because a guy just got out of a relationship and he misses, like, it's not the way he's acting isn't necessarily a reflection of how he feels about you. It's more, he misses that feeling of having a girlfriend, of having someone there. It also is a way for him to plug up that emotional hole that was left behind by his ex and not have to deal with those painful feelings. And a lot of men have a hard time dealing with painful feelings. They're not as equipped as most women are. So he just kind of like, slots somebody else into that spot so he doesn't have to face that pain and that loneliness. But the point is, it's so funny, like with all of my friends who started seeing a guy and he like wanted to be boyfriend, girlfriend after like a few days, I'm like, better watch out. And they were like, oh, Sabrina, no, you're wrong. It's true love. It always ended in disaster. If a guy is moving at lightning speed, be very wary and cautious. And I'm not saying break up with him, but it's on you to really pump the brakes here and then see what's going on. Number 5, substance issues. So this guy might not drink just to like take the edge off, whatever. A lot of people do that. This guy drinks to forget. He drinks to completely black out. He drinks because he just can't cope. And when I say drinks, it could also be uses substances. Question here is what is he running from? I have a friend who dated this guy who would just every night after work, he would have to like get high out of his mind or drink himself into oblivion every single day. Turns out this guy was extremely emotionally unstable. He also called her his girlfriend like after a week. Like the whole thing was like a mess, but that's always a really, really big red flag because that is a sign of somebody who just cannot cope. I mean, look, we all like to take the edge off from time to time. That's one thing. That's not the same as needing it like to function, to feel okay. When someone is numbing out like that, it's just a manifestation of some serious issues that are going on below. And I'm not saying like have no empathy and just like abandon someone, but that person needs to want to get help, needs to want to address whatever is going on that's making them do these behaviors to forget. That person needs to want it too. And if they don't, you can't be the one that's just there supporting them, taking care of them. Because if you do, you're just gonna end up in a codependent relationship, which will also turn into a toxic relationship. Number 6, he's controlling or jealous. Now, sometimes this can feel a little flattering, like, oh, he's worried that I'm flirting with another guy, or oh, he's worried that like other guys are looking at me. And fine, a little bit of jealousy is a good thing. I mean, it would probably be a bad sign if your boyfriend never got jealous, you know, if you flirted with other guys. Not that you should flirt with other guys, part of your boyfriend, but you know, fine, a little bit is one thing. But if he's like super controlling, cannot handle you ever texting guys, talking to guys, can't handle you wearing certain things, if he like picks out your clothes for you, a la this reminds me of Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, and we all see how that relationship unfolded. I could have predicted the end of their relationship at the beginning of their relationship with like this whole mess that's going on between them. But do you guys remember when he like threw her whole closet away? Like she was like crying and he's throwing away, I mean, who knows how many hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of clothes he threw away. And then he was like, no, I'm going to remake you in the image that I see fit. And he like bought her this like whole like hideous monochrome wardrobe. That is a sign of somebody who's a bit unhinged. And I mean, that's pretty much what he's proving to us right now with how he's acting. I mean, if a guy is controlling what you wear, huge red flag. Number 7, he doesn't have any healthy relationships. He might not have any good, healthy relationships with his friends, with his family. He's never had a healthy romantic relationship. You have to look at all the pieces of who someone is. And one thing that I always say is that if you have a problem with everyone, then you're the problem. Think about it. Also, do you guys think I should do a video on signs that you're the toxic one? Like, I think that might be a good idea. Let me know what you think in the comment below. Okay. Lastly, this is our next major buzzword. He gaslights. I'm sure you guys have heard of gaslighting. It's all anybody talks about, but basically it means that he makes you feel crazy for your interpretation of reality. Like, for example, let's say you catch him flirting with another girl and you're like, you know, that's so disrespectful. Why are you flirting with another girl? It's like, I wasn't flirting with her. What are you talking about? I'm not even attracted to her. You're just jealous and insecure and paranoid. And you're like, oh, maybe he wasn't flirting. Yeah, maybe I am jealous, insecure, and paranoid. I can't believe I can't even handle him having a conversation with another girl. He just basically distorts your feelings of reality. The fact is, like, there is no objective reality. We all have our perspectives and way that we see things, and everybody's perspective is valid even if you don't see things the same way. And if you can't respect that and instead just makes you feel crazy for feeling the way that you feel, that is a huge red flag, one of the biggest ones to watch out for. And the armor against this is having a high sense of worth, because the people that fall victim to the gaslighting trap are really people who don't value themselves, and they don't value the way that they feel. So that's why it's so easy for them to believe someone who's like, no, you're wrong. No, you're just being insecure, because they already feel that way deep down. So let's talk a little bit more about how you can protect yourself against, you know, being in a toxic relationship, or how you can get out. The first is to get support. It's not easy to get out of these types of situations because your emotions are so highly activated because you're in a stressful situation. And also, this guy has you questioning yourself and questioning reality, and you just don't know what's up, what's down. So it's really important to get support. Now, this could mean talking to friends or family, or I really suggest a completely objective third party, like a life coach or a relationship coach or a therapist. Next is write it all down. You can't just like have the realizations in your mind. You have to put them somewhere because your mind is going to go from one extreme to the next. Like one day you're going to be like, okay, this relationship's unhealthy. I'm leaving him. I'm done. And then he's going to text you something sweet and you're going to say, oh, well, maybe I should give him one more chance. And maybe I was just wrong. Maybe I was just this. You have to just put everything to paper and refer to that list often so that you are firm in your convictions. You're not wavering and flip-flopping. Next, read about toxic relationships. Read about emotionally abusive relationships and see if any of that resonates with you and really think about it. Another tip I have is to get away. Like if you can swing it, try and go on a vacation, like with a friend of yours. I remember I went to Puerto Rico with a friend of mine, like when I was in the middle of my Kevin, the damage case drama. And I got so much clarity and perspective during that time. Like when you have that distance, when you know you have no chance of seeing him, running into him, when you are just somewhere that, gives you those endorphins, that high, that rush of just being away and somewhere sunny and beautiful. So I think that is always like the best thing to do when you are in like a really volatile situation like that. Even if you just, if you can't afford to go away somewhere, just driving somewhere with a friend, like on a hiking trip or to a spa or something, just getting some distance and giving your emotions a chance to like simmer down so you can get to a better, more calm headspace. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you. Also, if you ever need relationship advice, A New Mode actually has a forum that's very active and me and Eric try to chime in there when we can, but where women can post their questions or concerns, and there's this whole amazing network and community of women who support each other and try to help each other out. There's definitely a lot of women on there who are going through toxic relationships. So if you just go to the website, anewmode.com, you can check that out. Make sure to like this video, make sure to subscribe, make sure to subscribe to the A New Mode newsletter, anewmode.com/subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.